Hello everyone, welcome back to News Travels Fast. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Today, we're discussing a critical and highly concerning development in international relations. Russian President Vladimir Putin's recently updated nuclear doctrine. This move has significant implications for global security, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, and the geopolitical landscape at large. On Wednesday, the Kremlin formally approved a broadened nuclear doctrine that many experts view as a thinly veiled threat to the United States and its allies. This updated policy marks a notable shift in Russia's nuclear strategy, allowing Moscow to launch a nuclear strike not only in response to a nuclear attack, but also if it is attacked by a non-nuclear country, such as Ukraine, that is supported by a nuclear state like the US. This approval coincided with a significant escalation in the conflict, as Kyiv used its first US-supplied long-range ATACMS missiles against Russia. The timing suggests a direct response to the evolving dynamics on the battlefield, raising the stakes considerably. Despite the alarming nature of this doctrine, both world leaders and analysts remain skeptical about the immediate threat of a nuclear strike. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin expressed confidence to news outlets, stating he sees no indication that Moscow intends to deploy nuclear weapons imminently. "I don't see a change in their strategic force posture, and so will continue to remain vigilant in this regard," Austin said on the 1,000th day since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. He also highlighted the dangerous behavior of rattling the nuclear saber, emphasizing the need for continued vigilance. Global reactions. Western allies have echoed this sentiment, dismissing Putin's threats as mere rhetoric. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, speaking in Brazil, labeled Russia's statements as irresponsible rhetoric that won't deter their support for Ukraine. Similarly, French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot and European Union Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell condemned the nuclear escalation threats as completely irresponsible. These responses underscore a united front among Western nations to support Ukraine despite Moscow's intimidation tactics. Shift focus to Kremlin's response. The Kremlin's spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, mentioned that a special hotline intended to ease crises between Russia and the White House is not currently in use. This statement contrasts sharply with the confidence expressed by Western officials regarding the non-imminent use of nuclear weapons, adding another layer of tension to the already strained relations. Expert analysis. Experts suggest that Russia's updated nuclear doctrine is more of a propaganda tool than a genuine policy shift. Keir Giles from the Chatham House think tank explains that Russia is using threatening language to undermine the resolve of the Biden administration in supporting Ukraine. With limited practical responses available, Moscow relies on these threats to destabilize Western unity and deter further military aid to Kyiv. Discuss Ukraine's strategic responses. Adding to the tension, Ukraine has indicated intentions to target key infrastructure within Russia, using the newly acquired long-range ATACMS missiles. These targets include vital energy facilities and military installations. Striking these areas could significantly disrupt Russia's military capabilities and economy, further escalating the conflict. Such actions demonstrate Ukraine's determination to push back against Russian aggression, even as it navigates the complexities of receiving advanced weaponry from the West. Explore implications for BRICS. This aggressive posture also affects Russia's relationships within BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. BRICS nations typically emphasize sovereignty and non-interference, but Russia's heightened rhetoric puts strains on its alliances, especially with China. China, seeking stability and wary of further Western isolation of Russia, finds itself in a delicate position. While China values its strategic partnership with Russia, it also prioritizes its own economic interests and relations with the West. This duality may lead China to adopt a more cautious stance, advocating for dialogue and de-escalation, rather than supporting Russia's aggressive nuclear rhetoric. Russia's potential retaliation strategies. Furthermore, Russia has outlined potential retaliation strategies against the United States. These include cyber attacks on critical infrastructure, economic measures such as sanctions and trade restrictions, and leveraging its energy exports to Europe as a means of exerting pressure. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev has even suggested that such measures could escalate tensions to the brink of World War III, highlighting the extreme rhetoric employed by Russian officials. Strategic logic. However, experts like Pavel Podvig from the UN Institute for Disarmament Research believe that a nuclear strike remains strategically illogical for Russia at this stage. With ongoing territorial gains in Ukraine, such an escalation would pose significant risks, including potential blowback from unexpected quarters, making it a serious gamble for Moscow. The cost of deploying nuclear weapons, both in terms of human lives and international condemnation, likely outweighs any perceived strategic advantage. Incoming U.S. administration stance. Looking ahead, President-elect Donald Trump has indicated a tough stance on Russia's nuclear threats. Drawing from his previous administration's policies, Trump plans to bolster NATO defenses, increase sanctions on Russia, and engage in direct diplomatic negotiations to de-escalate the situation. He emphasizes restoring American strength and unity among Western allies to effectively counteract Moscow's aggressive posturing. Trump's approach aims to deter further Russian aggression while seeking avenues for peaceful resolution, reflecting a blend of assertiveness and strategic diplomacy. Historical context and Kremlin's strategy. Historically, the Kremlin has favored intimidation as a strategy to influence Western policies. Putin's updated nuclear doctrine reiterates Russia's willingness to defend its interests by all means, narrowing the room for maneuver for Washington and Brussels. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev even went as far as suggesting that such doctrines could escalate to World War III, highlighting the extreme rhetoric employed by Russian officials. International perspectives. Internationally, the updated doctrine has been met with widespread condemnation. Many view it as a reckless escalation that undermines global stability. The international community remains on high alert, monitoring Russia's actions closely while reinforcing their support for Ukraine. The balance between deterrence and diplomatic engagement is delicate, with global leaders striving to prevent the situation from spiraling out of control. BRICS internal dynamics and global impact. Within BRICS, Russia's updated nuclear doctrine presents both challenges and opportunities. Brazil, India, and South Africa may find themselves navigating their diplomatic relations carefully, balancing their economic interests with their stances on international security. India, for instance, has long maintained a non-aligned position, but has been strengthening its defense capabilities and strategic partnerships, which might influence its response to Russia's actions. China's role is particularly pivotal. As the largest economy in BRICS, China's response to Russia's nuclear doctrine can significantly impact the group's cohesion and global influence. If China chooses to distance itself from Russia's aggressive stance to preserve its global economic ties and strategic interests, it could weaken BRICS as a unified bloc. Conversely, if China supports Russia's position, it could lead to increased tensions with Western nations and further isolate Russia internationally. The ramifications for global trade and economic stability are also significant. Increased tensions between Russia and the West can disrupt global markets, particularly in energy and defense sectors. Europe, heavily reliant on Russian energy exports, may face economic strain as it seeks alternative energy sources, leading to higher energy prices and economic uncertainty worldwide. Potential global security shifts. Russia's updated nuclear doctrine may also prompt a reevaluation of global security frameworks. NATO, for example, might accelerate its efforts to enhance missile defense systems and increase military presence in Eastern Europe. Countries outside of NATO may seek to bolster their own defense capabilities in response to heightened global tensions, potentially leading to an arms race reminiscent of the Cold War era. Moreover, non-state actors and rogue states might exploit the instability to advance their own agendas, further complicating international security dynamics. The risk of miscalculation or accidental escalation increases in such a volatile environment, making diplomatic efforts to maintain open lines of communication more crucial than ever. Explore the role of international organizations. International organizations like the United Nations and the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, will play critical roles in mediating tensions and preventing nuclear escalation. Diplomatic efforts to reinforce arms control agreements and promote dialogue between Russia and the West are essential to mitigate the risks associated with Russia's updated nuclear doctrine. The role of media and information dissemination also becomes crucial in shaping public perception and governmental responses. Accurate reporting and analysis can help counteract propaganda and misinformation, fostering a more informed and resilient global community. Potential diplomatic solutions. Diplomatic solutions remain the most viable path to de-escalation. Initiatives such as renewed arms control negotiations, confidence-building measures, and multilateral dialogues involving key stakeholders can help ease tensions. Engaging neutral parties to facilitate negotiations and encourage transparency in military activities can also contribute to a more stable international environment. Additionally, addressing the underlying causes of the conflict, such as territorial disputes and political grievances, through peaceful negotiations is essential for long-term stability. International support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, combined with efforts to foster economic and political stability in the region, can help reduce the motivations for extreme measures like nuclear escalation. In summary, Putin's updated nuclear doctrine signals a more aggressive stance, but it is widely perceived as a strategic move to deter Western support for Ukraine, rather than an immediate threat of nuclear deployment. The international community remains vigilant, supporting Ukraine while condemning Russia's rhetoric. The evolving dynamics, including Ukraine's strategic actions, the strained relations within BRICS, and the potential policies of the incoming Trump administration, will significantly influence the trajectory of this conflict. The broader implications for global security, economic stability, and international alliances underscore the importance of sustained diplomatic efforts and international cooperation. As the situation continues to unfold, staying informed and engaged is crucial for understanding and responding to these pivotal developments. What are your thoughts on Russia's updated nuclear doctrine and the potential responses from Ukraine, BRICS, and the US? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, give us a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. It really helps us reach more people and provide the content you enjoy. Thanks for watching. News travels fast. Stay tuned for more updates and in-depth analysis on the stories that matter most to you. Until next time, take care and stay informed.